But moving on to our final topic, Patty Jenkins clears the air. Patty Jenkins denies walking away from Wonder Woman 3. The Hollywood Reporter recently quoted and reported, although other sites did publish similar reports, that it was Jenkins who decided to pass on helming the project after receiving notes on the treatment she submitted to the studio. It was said that WB higher-ups weren't completely sold on her pitch, which contained character arc problems which rivaled that of Wonder Woman 1984, end quote. So it was basically saying that, yeah, this had severe character arc problems that were worse than Wonder Woman 84, and we just cannot move forward. Okay, so, and we also have been hearing reports that Rogue Squadron also might be canceled and that similar issues. So Patty Jenkins jumped on Twitter, and here's what she had to say. And it is long, so bear with me here. I'll try and do my best. Quote, sigh, ... I'm not one to talk about private career matters, but I will not allow inaccuracies to continue. Here are the facts. I originally left Rogue Squadron after a long and productive development process when it became clear it couldn't happen soon enough, and I did not want to delay Wonder Woman 3 any further. When I did, Lucasfilm asked me to consider coming back to Rogue Squadron after Wonder Woman 3, which I was honored to do, so I agreed. They made a new deal with me. In fact, I'm still on it, and that project has been in active development ever since. I don't know if it will happen or not. We never do until the development process is complete, but I look forward to its potential ahead. When there started being backlash about Wonder Woman 3 not happening, the attractive clickbait false story that it was me that killed it or walked away started to spread. This is simply not true. I never walked away. I was open to considering anything asked of me. It was my understanding that there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time. DC is obviously buried in changes they are having to make, so I understand these decisions are difficult right now. I do not want what has been a beautiful journey with Wonder Woman to land on a negative note. I have loved and been so honored to be the person who got to make these last two Wonder Woman films. She's an incredible character. Living in and around her values makes one a better person every day. I wish her and her legacy an amazing future ahead, with or without me. Looks like she goes on to just compliment every person that has impacted her in her life and regarding the behind the scenes with Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84, and goes on to thank the Wonder Woman fans, her supporters, and everybody throughout the journey, and wants to keep up the Wonder Woman spirit. And any day you face struggles, just think about what would Wonder Woman do. But it sounds like she just could not get anything moved forward, and that they actually did decline her project as well as all of these other projects that have been declined. So it's not necessarily surprising to me to hear that the report is true. Well, the initial report was true, that the character arcs was, maybe that was the reason that it got declined, or maybe it's just not with what vision they have going forward. But it sounds like, from at least Patty Jenkins, if she's being honest and genuine here, that no, she didn't walk away. She wasn't fed up or anything like we all were told from, I believe it was Deadline. I could be wrong on that. Eleanor, what do you think about all this?
Well, this is hard because it kind of seems a little bit like he said, she said. And when you kind of have these hearsay type arguments, it's hard to decipher really who's telling the truth. So, I mean, I'm going to take all of this with a little grain of salt because one person saying no, it was you, and the other person saying no, it was me. And pointing fingers, I just don't like doing, especially when I don't have good evidence. But if she is telling the truth, that is really disappointing. That, I mean, they wouldn't even give her a chance to, let me write something else. Let me try to do something different. But that would confirm for me that they're like, okay, you know what? Not right now. We don't have that planned out. Hopefully that's all it is a not right now, maybe later. And not a no, we're done with you, we're done with this. Because that would make me really sad. I really love Wonder Woman, and that would just be so much more devastating bad news. It wouldn't surprise me if Warner Brothers and James Gunn Peter Safran were
Right.
the ones that axed it. Because, I mean,
They're the ones in charge.
right. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's the way it went instead of her walking off the project. Because she doesn't strike me as someone who is a diva like that, who would just kind of get up and leave a project or just because she wasn't getting her way. She doesn't strike me as that kind of director. She seemed very passionate. I felt the passion for Wonder Woman in the first two movies we saw. So I wouldn't see her as being willing to really give that up so easily. So I can see this being true as well. But I can see truth in both sides. So I think my mom has always said to me is, everyone has this story and that story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right. And the one thing that she never did mention was the character arc and the story that she submitted. She never did comment on how they reacted to the movie that she submitted or the story that she submitted. All she really did was say that, yeah, I just can't get a story going forward. So
Right.
maybe that's just James Gunn and Peter Safran hitting pause on all scripts and movies being submitted at this time, and they're just not greenlighting any films. Maybe they're going to hit pause for 5 years.
I would say maybe their desks are full and they're like, no.
I doubt they're going to hit pause for 5 years because their contracts aren't that long. But
Right. They're probably working on something.
it does, to me, honestly kind of seem like it is another sign that they might be rebooting, just because it's another one of these movies that would have probably gone forward in the DCEU under Walter Hamada or maybe even Kevin Tsujihara, where they're just like, okay, this is something that has been successful in the past. Let's just keep going, even if the script is subpar. I feel like it is a movie that we probably would have gotten if James Gunn and Peter Safran weren't here. But would it have damaged DC and Wonder Woman even more? And is James Gunn and Peter Safran just hitting pause, figuring out what their slate is, and maybe they figured, it's better to do a Wonder Woman movie in 3 years with a new actress and start a new trilogy that is going to tie in with a Justice League trilogy. And we can't do that with Gal Gadot when she's demanding $20 million a project. Who knows if that's true?
Right. That's just
but-
us speculating.
Right. But it does pose a lot of questions, and it does make me wonder if maybe they are thinking about just doing a full-fledged reboot, which is something that has been rumored and reported amongst everything else, which honestly, anything is possible, I feel like, at this point, right?
Right. Yeah. And honestly, who knows? None of us know. Whatever you guys are feeling, though, please let us know down in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And if you have any topic suggestions you want for the rest of the week, or maybe you want us to cover a different game or something in the next podcast, if you have any ideas, just let us know too. We'd love to hear from you. And that will do it for the SFM podcast this week, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel, give us a like, leave us a comment. And if you are listening on an audio-only format, Spotify, Samsung Podcast, Amazon Music, any one of those, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to us, as it does help us find more people like you. And that'll do it for us this week, guys. Please remember to iron your capes.